After a very long and hard-fought battle with Eustace Captain Kidd, and by long and hard-fought, I mean over and two very effort-filled attacks, we have to ask the question, where is Shanks going next? Well, what if I told you that with the next Paramount War now brewing on the horizon, going to be center stage at Egghead Island, it's very possible that Shanks may end up going to Egghead Island. How can I guess this? Well, there's some evidence that points to it. But before we get into that, my name is Richard, this is my wife Claire,
Hello.
and we're one piece of a dream. Let's go ahead and delve right into why Shanks very likely is going to show up at the next Paramount War, and how he may very well be a massive centerpiece to this war. Now, I know you're probably thinking that's impossible and that I'm totally crazy for even suggesting that this could happen, but in reality, Oda's put all of the signs that this is going to be coming soon right in front of our faces. We've been too blinded by Shanks ending Kidd's voyage to actually see it. We're too overwhelmed with the divine departure attack that we couldn't see the divine departure Shanks is about to do towards Egghead Island that was right in front of our faces. The signs aren't so much in the dialogue as they are the actual actions that have currently taken place between Shanks and his crew. However, there is a small piece of dialogue that lets us jump off as a starting point to begin this theory, and that is that Shanks wants to hurry up and get off of Elbaf. The reason being because trouble has currently followed him to Elbaf, and he doesn't want to stay there and cause any more trouble than need be, i.e. Captain Kidd showing up to try to have a fight with them. Kidd showing up was very clearly something that Shanks had not yet anticipated. His future sight may be good, and maybe the best we know of in the series so far, but it isn't that good to where he can see that far in the future. At least we're fairly certain it isn't, because if it was, I'm pretty sure he would have known that Kidd was going to show up. There's only one character we know of in the series that has like true psychic powers that can see that far in the future, and that's that one lady from Fishman Island
Madame Charlie.
Yeah, Madame Charlie. I can never remember her name, I'm sorry about that, but that's Madame Charlie. Just a little tidbit of future sighted information for you in case you forgot. But in these panels, Shanks can be seen caring about getting his crew packed and ready to leave more than he actually seems to care about the fact that Eustace Captain Kidd is currently beating down his door and trying to get into his home turf of Elbaf. In fact, he seems more interested in what Blackbeard is doing than Kidd. That says a lot. He is more concerned with what is going on somewhere else in the world than what he actually has happening directly in front of him. Although he does take care of the problem, and we very clearly learn why he wasn't worried about it, it's still a thing that a 3 billion berry bounty man was currently trying to get into Elbaf, but he's more worried about another Yonko. And why would this be? Well, clearly we didn't get to see the entire Grand Fleet. There's probably more information gathering pieces of his fleet that we have yet to see that are probably out and about spying on Blackbeard and picking up information for reconnaissance wherever they can be. Maybe it's a possibility that Shanks knows exactly what's about to happen to Egghead Island. We don't know what his ultimate goals are, so we don't know if he cares or not, but he likely does care, especially if Luffy is there, and maybe he knows that the world government is currently on their way to destroy Egghead Island. After all, Shanks is a Fagarland. He is possibly a celestial dragon. He very much may have intel very easily on what is happening inside the inner workings of the world government. The man can call a meeting with the Gorosei at will. So, it's very likely that Shanks is well aware of what's happening at Egghead Island, and in the following panels before that one, sorry, not following, it'd be the panels before that, we got to see a Blackbeard ship, not the Saber of Quebec, but maybe, I don't know, Quebec's little toe, on their way to Egghead Island as we speak. We don't know who's on that ship, but we do know that if Shanks were to find out about it, he's going to care, and he may show up. Now, if Blackbeard is on that ship, that means not good things happen to Law. That means that Law is likely in the same place that Eustace Captain Kidd is. Hopefully not, because he's a lot of people's favorite characters, and I would hope that Eiichiro Oda wouldn't just kill off one of the most beloved characters in the series like that, but it is a possibility. But, as far as we know at the moment, Shanks does not know what is going on with Blackbeard. He only knows that Blackbeard left Hachinosu. But if he does know about the world government coming to destroy Egghead, and he does find out that Blackbeard is on his way to Egghead, he likely isn't going to be too happy if one of two things happens here. Either A, Blackbeard kidnaps Vegapunk and forces him to do sciencey stuff for him, or B, Blackbeard gets York to join the crew, something obviously Shanks has no way of knowing that could currently happen. However, it's very likely that York may end up defecting and joining Blackbeard because she's already defected from the Vegapunk clan and is pretty much now on her way to try to be a celestial dragon and failing miserably at it. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have a backup goal. Her backup goal being, if I can't join the Celestial Dragons, why not just join the Yonko? Why not become a member of Blackbeard's crew? I stand for the same things he stands for, and he would readily accept a very greedy Vegapunk in with open arms, especially since she's a giant woman, and Blackbeard does like the ladies. So we can't really put it past the goals of Blackbeard to have somebody as smart as a Vegapunk maybe join the crew, which could very well be why there's a Blackbeard ship on the way to Egghead. So it's a very strong possibility that York may even have called the Blackbeard pirates there herself to try to join their crew. However, what does this have to do with Shanks showing up, aside from if he were to get this information? Well, to figure out where Shanks is likely going to go, we could look back to the first Paramount War to see what happened there. After all, Shanks did show up, and so did Blackbeard. Where the action is, Blackbeard generally follows, and Shanks may end up following in his footsteps to the location. And we may be about to see the longest and hardest fought, and maybe the most power-filled battle that we will ever see, or at least up until this point in the One Piece series. A battle that will make Kaido and Luffy's fight look like fodder. That is how powerful this fight is going to be. After all, we don't know everything there is to know about Blackbeard. You can assume very easily that Blackbeard may very easily be beaten by Shanks. After all, we saw how strong Shanks is. He beat Kid in one shot. And Blackbeard was struggling with Law a little bit. Well, it's very likely that Blackbeard probably beat Law. And if you remember right, there was actually a panel where Shanks was explaining to Whitebeard how he got the scar over his eye, and that scar over his eye was actually done by Blackbeard, and Shanks said he was on his guard.
Yeah, and that was before Blackbeard got the Yami Yami no Mi and ended up yoinking Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi.
Yeah, and not only has Blackbeard gained significant power-ups since then, but we do need to realize that Blackbeard isn't likely as weak as we all make him out to be. Nobody says he's legitimately weak. He's a Yonko, he's strong, he has 2 devil fruits, and now he's proven to have armament haki at the least, since we saw the situation against S-Hawk when he was trying to kidnap Boa Hancock or kill her for her devil fruit. Now, that could be a problem for Shanks because we really don't know the truth behind his power. All we've seen from him is that he has a coward side to him. A very cowardly, almost secondary personality, if you would. I think that Blackbeard more than likely is only able to have multiple devil fruits because he has multiple personalities, and it's very much apparent, and it only happens for a second where we clearly see this, but it's against Whitebeard, when Whitebeard is currently choking Blackbeard after beating the crap out of him, and Blackbeard wants to steal Whitebeard's devil fruit. We see that Blackbeard very quickly just snaps and just changes personalities like that. Very much he's like, oh no, Pops, please don't kill me, after he was very much just saying that he was going to take over everything, and I'm paraphrasing, but he pretty much just, was on this most assertive rant that we've ever seen him on in the series, where he was basically claiming he was going to take over the world, almost like he was doing a continuation of the dreams of Rock D. Quebec. And it's very likely, I mean, his literal ship is named after him, so you shouldn't be surprised that Blackbeard may have something weird about him, because Blackbeard himself likely does have more than one personality. In fact, he's probably got 3. It would make sense. 3 skulls, 3 of everything. And I know there's a lot of 3 related theories. There's 3 men in an overcoat that could make up Blackbeard. Blackbeard having 3 hearts, his body being atypical, it being strange, but nowhere in the lore are we ever shown that having 3 hearts would ever let somebody have 3 devil fruits. But if we had 3 souls, which we are now focusing on with Egghead, maybe it's more of a possibility. So those personalities are actually souls and not simply made up figments of Blackbeard's imagination.
So do you think we're gonna soon find out, since we are in Egghead and souls are kind of a big topic right now, that Blackbeard does have 3 souls?
More than likely, and the reason that I would agree with this and say that is because Vegapunk is making a big deal lately about souls in One Piece. He made the big deal about souls existing and weighing 21 grams, referencing a real-life experiment, and having Kuma prove that memories are tangible just like the soul. And if both they're tangible, both they're accessible, then Blackbeard, being from the weird background and the devil fruit nerd that he is, may have found a way to actually give himself 3 souls so that he would be capable of having more than 1 devil fruit. And Vegapunk is also the man that knows how to recreate devil fruits, using lineage factor and the like. And this is important because if dreams and the soul are the same thing and devil fruits are a culmination of people's dreams, it's very much a real possibility that rather than hooking onto simply your physical body, the devil or dream, whatever it is inside of this devil fruit, may actually hook onto your soul itself. And if Blackbeard has more than 1, it would explain why he can have 3, and maybe having 3 souls means that he has 3 times the amount of organs inside of his body. If he has 3 times the amount of organs inside of his body, it may make sense as to why he's so big. I don't want to call him fat, but he needs to have space to have those organs inside of him.
Point.
It is. And I think that if you look at the situation very closely, we can analyze and see this, but this means that Shanks may even have to kill Blackbeard 3 times separately. Blackbeard may be like a cat, except only having 3 lives. He very much may not only have 3 devil fruits, but having 3 souls would mean that you'd have to actually take him out 3 times. And if Blackbeard's souls are each different than the other, if he has an assertive soul, that certain soul could have the most powerful Conqueror's Haki we have ever seen in the entire series. He just hasn't had a reason to use it yet. We don't know which of these souls Blackbeard has been displaying, and if Blackbeard does, as is currently likely happening, show up to Egghead Island and Shanks soon follows to put a stop to this new Paramount War, maybe save Luffy or just meet him, or very much just there to confront Blackbeard, it's a strong possibility that we may see the most powerful battle of Haki that we've ever seen in our lives. Nix the devil fruits, but the devil fruits will probably give Blackbeard an advantage, and I don't feel comfortable saying Law is alive right now, not only because of what happened to Kid and calling that foreshadowing, but we should very much give more credit to Blackbeard. We've seen how he plays with this food. Just look what he did to Ace. He literally was playing with Ace the entire time. He just wanted to mess around and show his old commander that he actually was more powerful in what his food could do.
Maybe you should mention that cover story again.
Oh my god, the cover story. I've mentioned this so many times. There's actually what looks like an obvious reference to Blackbeard obtaining the Oppy Oppy no Mi, because you see, there's actually a cover art, which I'm showing right now, of Blackbeard kicking Ace into a river, but it's Dr. Blackbeard. Very likely a possible reference to Blackbeard obtaining the 3rd devil fruit, being the Oppy Oppy no Mi, because he has 3 crosses on him, just like the original Blackbeard has 3 of everything else. Since Law was a last minute character, somebody just needed to have the Oppy Oppy no Mi, and Blackbeard was the one that was always supposed to obtain it. So I'm sorry, Law fans, but rest in peace. Probably.